How we doing, guys?
How did David Irving hurt himself yesterday, and do you have a better idea on what timetable you're looking at with him?
Yeah, we're just in practice. We're in an inside run drill, and he just got his foot caught in the ground and was not able to finish practice. Getting an MRI today, and we'll just see how he is.
How has he played in the first 2 games you had him?
He's done a good job. Obviously, he hasn't played that much football up to this point, but we thought he handled the reps fairly well. Was limited in how many snaps he played in each of the games, but was disruptive both in the running game and affecting the quarterback. So he still has a long way to go getting himself acclimated back into playing more and more snaps, his conditioning, his technique, all of those things, but he's certainly off to a good start.
If anyone who didn't practice yesterday is going to work back in on a limited basis today, like Martin or anybody?
Yeah, Zach should do a little bit more. He'll do some individual stuff, and we'll see how that goes as to what he'll do the rest of the practice.
Gregory's questionable, I guess, for Monday, and now this. How does this compromise you with the line, the D-line, about playing guys?
Yeah, we just got to see who's available to us as the week goes on. Still got a lot of time before. This is a Thursday practice for us today, so we'll see what guys are able to do today, tomorrow, and leading up to the game on Monday and make our decisions.
What went into calling up Deku from the practice squad?
Just an opportunity to bring a guy up who we think can help us really on special teams as much as anywhere else. And he's competing for one of the flyer spots and some of the other roles on teams. And depending on how he does and how the other guys do over the next couple of days, we'll see if he's part of the 46 and see what kind of role he has.
Going back to David, is the preliminary indication of high ankle sprain, or what do you
I hurt his ankle yesterday in practice, so we'll just see what it is when the doctors, the trainers get a chance to look at the MRIs. He got treatment this morning and said he was feeling better, and we'll just see what they determine.
He had X-ray yesterday, were they negative? And
my understanding is the X-rays yesterday were negative. The MRI happened this morning, and we're waiting on those results.
Your thoughts on the Titans offense and how they try to attack you?
Well, they try to attack you a lot of different ways. It obviously starts with their quarterback, who's a very multi-dimensional guy, can beat you in the pocket, can beat you with his feet on design runs, and also when plays break down. Very good at getting out of the pocket, extending plays, and keeping his eyes down the field and throwing the ball and making plays that way, as well as just making runs. You see him week in and week out make runs that make a difference in the game for him. They got two backs that challenge you. Derrick Henry's a big guy. Deion Lewis is a smaller guy. They're both can be dynamic players. They want to run the football. Big-time receiver outside. And, again, they have a lot of different weapons. They try to attack you a lot of different ways.
Defensively, what do you see in that?
Again, really good players on all 3 levels of their defense, active up front, active linebackers, and the guys on the back end are good cover guys. And, they try to do a lot of different things, and they try to do a lot of different things different ways. From a defensive standpoint, they've been very, very effective, keeping the scores down in games and playing well in situational defense.
You played against a number of quarterbacks that can extend plays and run the ball as well. How do you feel you've done against those guys? Got a good start on.
Yeah, I think at times very well, and other times not good enough. And there were some big plays in that first game, really the first half of the first game against Carolina, that they did a good job against us. I thought we did a better job as that game wore on, and at different times done a very good job against this style of a quarterback, and other times not good enough. And it applies to the some of the design runs, the read option type stuff, but also some of the times when a play breaks down and they're able to get out and extend plays. So the challenge is every time they snap the football, because they are so athletic, and Marcus is no different. He's a dynamic player. We all saw that in college, and he's demonstrated that throughout his time in the NFL.
Yeah, Cooper yesterday, how did he look before practice with you guys yesterday?
Yeah, he practiced a couple times last week, so we've seen him before, and he's worked very hard to understand what we're trying to do, and he had a good day.
You obviously have a long relationship and are very close with Jason Witten, but when you see him later, it's going to be in a different sort of setting than you've really interacted with him before. Can you just talk about that and looking forward to him coming back here and what that will mean for you just individually?
Yeah, I have an incredible amount of respect and admiration for Whit. We have a great friendship, a great relationship. And he's someone I just admire so much, and he's clearly made the transition fairly smoothly to the booth. And I've spoken to him a few times this year, and it'll be fun to see him this week. He'll be leading that production meeting, and different for me, different for a lot of the guys who get a chance to visit with him. But he's just one of the great guys, one of the rare guys I've ever been around, and excited to see what he's doing with his life and how well he's doing. And it'll be fun to see him on Sunday.
What does this team miss with him not in the room on the field?
I just was a great football player for such a long time, and for so many different reasons. Obviously, incredibly productive, but his leadership in the locker room, on the practice field, and throughout games was off the charts, and a great example for all of us as to how to go about your job. And it's had such a positive influence beyond just the performance on the field. So a rare guy, a special guy. We're all fortunate to have been around him.
Will you text each other periodically? I know you both get tied up in the season, but you just kind of text little,
Yeah, we stay in touch. Yeah.
I don't know that your opinion on this has necessarily changed in a week and a half, but now that you've had the opportunity to have Amari in practices, what kind of impact do you see him having on this offense?
Just excited to have him on board. Obviously a really good player. Was a great college player, drafted high, productive in his first couple of years with the Raiders, and someone we think can help our football team. And he's a young guy who works hard. He has ability. What's impressed us the most is just his approach. He's very serious-minded, very much of a football guy, immersed in what we're trying to do, picking things up quickly, and we'll get him out there and hopefully he can contribute.
In addition to his own production, how can he help in terms of either pulling a defender out of the box or helping to dictate coverages? How can he help other guys in the offense?
Just the more weapons you have and the more ways you're able to attack a defense, that helps everybody. We've always believed in that. And, when you add a guy of his talent and his caliber and his ability, there's no question he'll have a positive impact in terms of his production, but in the production of the other guys.
For Colombo, what's the toughest part of going from one seat over to the main chair and leading the room?
Mark has had such a positive impact on the offensive line the last few years in the assistant role. And, that position is one where you do get hands-on. You do get a lot of chance to make an impact on the group. So the fact that he's kind of the lead voice now is a little bit different for him, but I think he has great credibility with the guys, because of his playing days, but much more importantly because of how he's helped coach them the last few years as the assistant offensive line coach. So the biggest difference is he's the lead voice. He makes a lot of those decisions, and he and Hudson Houck working together, we think, can be a great tandem for our offensive line.
You were in a similar position when you got elevated. How did you and Mark talk about the transition from moving from one position to another?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I tried to share with him is we have to hit the ground running. You have to have a plan. He has a clear idea how he wants to coach the guys, what we want to do in the running game with our pass protection, some of the other things. Obviously, it's a collaborative effort. He's not making those decisions on his own. We make those decisions together. But, your presentation right at the outset, and there's not a lot of time for wavering around or hesitation. Okay, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. This is the structure. This is what the day looks like. This is what the approach is. And he has great command. He has a great understanding of that. It's one of the reasons we wanted him to be one of the coaches on our football team at the outset. And this is opportunity to have a bigger voice. He's done a really nice job.
Does he interact more with Scott now, or is that him and HUD will be doing that, or as far as?
He'll absolutely interact more with Scott. But again, I want to keep saying this. He interacted a lot with Scott already. That assistant offensive line position is a very important position on your staff, and he's had that for the last few years.
What does Noah have to show you in practice to get elevated to the 53? Now that you started that clock.
Yeah, we're just going to get him acclimated and get him moving around. Obviously, he knows what we're doing. He's on top of all of that. He just needs to start playing football again. Had a good day yesterday, and there's a lot that he can add to our football team. So he's a very serious-minded guy. He's worked very hard to get back to this point, so excited to have him out there.
What do you have to say about the newest member of the Ring of Honor?
I know nothing about it.
Thank you.
Sure.